Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to our brand new engineering series. Um, so today, what we'll do is we'll try to talk about and also demo the concept of test-driven development or TDD, right? So before we start, let's first try to understand some of the basics of what we'll do. So this guy in the picture, Ken Beck, some of you, most of you probably know him as one of the founder of the Agile movement, one of the author of the Agile Manifesto. So what he said back in 2003 was this: if I test the code I write, I get better quality code. What would happen if I took the process to the extreme by writing tests before the code itself, right? Um, so what he is trying to allude to is, right, the practice of writing the code before writing the test before you start the code, or TDD, right? It's not merely about testing, right, or validating the code that we wrote. It actually means more than that. With TDD, we have test cases, right? Same as if you write the code first. But the other advantage is we can use that test case, right, as one of our medium of specification and design. So, and I'm sure we're all familiar with the concepts of refactoring, clean code, agile requirements, right? So all these are in essence what we're trying to manifest, right, or show by applying the TDD practice, as we'll see in the demo later. So this diagram might be familiar with a lot of you. On the left, we have the traditional way of doing software development and testing, test last. As usual, you understand the story, you write the code, you write the test, and then you run all the tests. If the test pass, good, although very unlikely. If it fails, then you rework and you repeat this cycle until everything is all the tests has passed, and then you move on to the next story. On the other hand, the task first approach advocates us to actually break the stories into chunks of what we call acceptance test for acceptance criteria. And then we write the test for this acceptance criteria in the form of scripts lah. Uh, Once we have written the acceptance criteria, we then start to write the tests, right? And we start with the failing test. And then we write code that would eventually pass the test, right? Once that is passed, then we move to refactor the code. And we repeat this process over and over again until that acceptance criteria, until we're satisfied lah with the quality of our code. And then we move to the next test and we repeat the same process all over again until the whole story is completed. And then we move on to the next story. So if you ask me, I think net test last or test first roughly results in the same amount of effort and time. But with test first, we get the additional bonus of a more modular design that is more aligned to our acceptance criteria. Also, it provides a sort of traceability all the way from requirement, the code itself, and the test cases. So there are many ways to do TDD, but the most popular is the one that was popularized by another Agile Manifesto author, Uncle Bob Martin, right? Which is the red-green-refactor cycle, right, or methodology. So what it, as you can see from the screen, what it basically means is write failing tests, write codes that pass the test, and then you refactor. Yeah. So, and then this methodology, according to Uncle Bob, has to be governed by the three laws of TDD on your right, which basically says that you must write a failing test first. This means that we write the test or unit test without having a single production code yet. Which probably means that your code will fail to execute or even fail to compile, right? If it's a statically typed language like Java. Then you gradually write the production code, right? But the trick is don't overdo it, right? Make it just sufficient to pass the current failing test. Once that's done, then we proceed to make the code cleaner by doing refactoring. Two different ways of doing TDD. Uncle Bob prefers the classic TDD approach, the one on the left, also called inside out. So in this approach, what we do is we start with the units first. We start to write the unit test, and then we expand outwards to the integration test. On the other hand, we have an outside-in approach. That means you start with the integration test first, and then you move inwards by writing the unit test and all the implementation components. Yeah. Uh, the one thing about the outside-in approach is because it's you have to make a lot of assumptions about the surrounding ecosystem, right? So which means that you have to do a lot of mockings of dependencies and also the APIs. Okay, so in the next video, we'll try to proceed directly to do the demo. So what we'll be doing is basically we will try to do a TDD, right? Try to do a hands-on TDD demo using Uncle Bob's red-green-refactor methodology, right? And also applying the outside-in TDD style. Okay, so until then, stay safe and take care.